let's have a look at an array feature that we're going to call reversing and sorting. Now, by default, our array is given to us in a particular order, and this is typically something that comes from a database. We wouldn't be hard coding the order of this entire array, but it might be that we have some kind of button in our HTML or a function that lives in our JavaScript, and we simply want to perhaps reverse an array and display things top to bottom or bottom to top. So for this, we have a really simple method, and then we'll have a look at sorting an array. So if we want to reverse an array, we can use the dot reverse. Now, before we actually go and have a look at it, let's have a look at what we've got so far. So we're using 3 objects inside an array, and we're switching things up a little bit for this example. Now, using objects is more of a data structure that would make sense in this case. We have a name of the drink, and we also have the price. And this allows us to access any of those properties because we know objects are essentially unordered data structures. So they have keys which give us the values and we can access them. We don't need to worry about indexes like we do with an array. So here we have lemonade, peach, and lime. Now if I go ahead and hit save, and then we'll open this up again, we have lime, peach, and lemonade. So that's nice and easy. That's a quick way that you can learn to just simply reverse an array. Now the reverse doesn't take any arguments. It just simply reverses the elements in an array. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and duplicate this, and we're going to look at an array sort. Now if we go ahead and hit array.sort, we can open up our console. Now at the moment, our drinks sorting doesn't know how to sort things, so we need to provide it some kind of function that deals with this logic. Now first things first, let's go inside our sorting function and add a function. Now it's typical when using a sort that we would use something such as A and B. Now if we hover over sort, you can see that we have this comparison function, which as you can see is optional based on the question mark. So this allows us to execute some kind of logic, and it could be a very complex algorithm, or it could be the most basic algorithm, such as, is this greater than this? So as an example, let's say, return me A minus B. Now in its current state, this isn't going to be that helpful because we're looking at this price property. So let's assume that we have some kind of UI toggle where we want to order the drinks by the price, or perhaps revert that and order them by the lowest price or the highest price. So what we do in this sense is add this dot price and dot price again. Now let's go ahead and save this out and see what it gives us in the console. So if you have a look over here, we have deliberately mixed these up. So we have 79, 99, and an 89. Whereas now we're sorting via the price, we have 79, 89, and 99. So cleverly, by using this sorting comparison function, we can then compare whether a value is lower or higher, for example. If we wanted to swap these around, all we need to do is b.price and a.price. And you can see when we expand this again, we now have them in a different order. We have them going from the highest to the lowest number. So even though this is a quick lesson, we've learned how to reverse our drinks array. We've learned how to sort a drinks array. And there are lots of different things based on what you're going to need. You might want to sort them by a different property or add some more complex logic inside of here. But that's completely up to you, is what you do inside of here. Now, before we actually close this off, what I want to do is convert this over to an arrow function. Now, earlier in this course, I mentioned that I like to use arrow functions almost purely just for callback purposes, such as this, where we're passing in a callback function. And you can see how much nicer and easier to read this approach is. You can see that we have on one line, we have A, we have B, and then we have our comparison logic. So this is another good example of how ES 2015 allows us to neaten up and reduce our code size as well. So that's it for this lesson. We've covered reversing, we've covered sorting. Let's go have a look at how we can type check our JavaScript arrays.